Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to Channel 10 News for your daily news updates. I'm Ronifer Phillips.
And I'm Veronica Ross.
And today we're getting into a new issue that is very debated and talked about. The difference between twins and only children and how they develop socially and mentally. Is it different? Is it not? We're here to tell you. A new study has come out recently that shows that only children are an extreme example of firstborns, while on the other hand, twins are an extreme example of laterborns, so they have that disconnect already. Firstborns have their parents all to themselves throughout their entire life. They have no one else to help them to go through their early childhood days with them. All they got is themselves and their parents. If their parents aren't very helpful and help them grow up, they're kind of in the dark. While twins are usually very close with each other and can help each other throughout life if their parents aren't very good in that aspect.
Twins do develop differently than single children. Being raised as a twin, you always have someone to be around with, always have someone to interact with, and you learn pretty much from them and not just your parents. However, single children do not have that bond or experience. They get all their attention from their parents, and if their parents don't teach them how to do things, it might have a very negative impact on their life.
And now we would take it down to Michelle, who's in the field with a only child and the single dad of this only child, to see how he's doing and to have a couple questions with him. Take it away, Michelle.
Hello, I'm here at the household of Dominic and his parents. We're going to ask them a couple questions and observe how he acts and plays.
Who is it?
This is Michelle from Channel 10 News, here to observe Dominic.
My son?
Yes.
Alright.
Hello.
Oh, it's you, Michelle. Alright, I remember you. What do you want to know?
Can we sit down somewhere and discuss a couple things?
Alright, I guess.
Okay, thank you for meeting with us today. Would you like to tell us a little bit about Dominic and how he interacts with kids?
Hello. Boy, my son Dominic, he's a real special lad, I'd say. Oh wow, where do I begin? He's a pain in my neck. He doesn't listen to a word I say. He is just getting into all this bunch of things he shouldn't be doing. He's a bad kid, and what do I do? I just throw him into his room when he's bad. He just kind of does his thing, and I try to do my whatever, you know.
Okay. How does he interact with other kids at school?
Yeah, not very well, you know. He's usually gets called. They always give me a call and be like, "Your son's misbehaving again, Mr. Jerry," and I'm like, God. So I'll go pick him up, throw him in his room. You know, what am I supposed to do?
Maybe there's a different way of raising your kid. Maybe the reason why he can't interact with children at school is because of how life is here.
I highly doubt that. I don't know. His mom's not around to teach him much, you know, so he's got me, and that's really all he needs, you know, so.
Do you teach him any social skills?
I tell him what's right and what's wrong, you know, like feed him, give him water. I don't know what else he would really need. He should be fine, you know.
Okay, where is Dominic?
He's probably around here somewhere. Oh, there he is.
Okay, would you like to go get him and bring him in here?
I guess. Give me a second. Ah, God damn it, son. Get over here. Jeez. Here's Dominic. I got some things to do.
Oh my God. Dominic, are you okay? Okay. Hi, Dominic. I'm Michelle. I'm going to ask you a couple questions. So, how is school? How are your friends? Okay. Now how do you interact with your friends?
I don't have many friends.
Why is that?
I don't like them very much.
Okay. How is your dad? How is that going?
Oh, great. Just terrible.
Dominic, don't cry. It's okay. It's okay. I think it's time to cut back to you you guys in the station. Thank you very much, Michelle. Now we will go into detail about twins and how they develop a social life and how being raised with someone drastically will change their life. But first we want to go into the whole Jerry situation.
Yeah, so what we saw with Jerry and Dominic was that Dominic was being raised in a very not good environment. Jerry was a very neglectful, uninvolved parent. As we saw, he wouldn't be giving Dominic the kind of punishment that he needs to learn how to behave and how to react to certain situations. He would just throw him in his room. That's not good for Dominic. That doesn't teach him how to behave and how to learn these different ideas and aspects of his life to function normally with other kids. So as Dominic moves on to preschool and kindergarten to where he starts talking with more and more kids, he can develop these different attitudes. Two attitudes that he could develop are the withdrawn rejected and the aggressive rejected attitudes. In the withdrawn rejected, he would be much more isolative. He'd be on his own. He'd be in his own world. So when kids would come up to him, he would be freaked out. He would not want to talk to them. He would want to be on his own, and over time, more and more kids would just not want to ever talk to him. He would not want to talk to them, and then he would just be on his own for however long he gets out of this type of attitude. The other one, when he's aggressive rejected, is throughout this time with other kids, he can start being a bully. He could start pushing and shoving other kids, not intentionally, just because he doesn't know how to act around them. So these different attitudes can develop all from Jerry and from him not teaching him the proper ways to grow up and act socially.
Twins develop differently because they share a deep and primary attachment. Twins at times can be inseparable and they're pretty much born married. Twins can create a special language at a young age in which can only be understood by them, and adults can't normally understand that. The comfort and stability level they have with each other makes them rely on each other, and it can cause separation anxiety sometimes further down in their life.
And along with being close to one another, these twins also have the tendency to fight one another for more or less the attention of their parents. They feel like their parents aren't treating them equally. The parents obviously are trying to give them the same amount of love and attention to both the twins. To the twins, though, they don't see it like that. If one twin gets something that the other one doesn't, that will cause an issue. If throughout their whole life, or mainly through childhood, these little rifts will make them fight and argue and get into it with each other. And if they don't kind of solve these and learn how to contend with each other in peaceful ways, throughout their life, if this fighting keeps on happening, it can erode their bond and make them not want to be with each other and not have the love and compassion that they shared together as children.
Now we'll cut to reporter Deborah, she's visiting a house of parents of two twins.
To you, Deborah.
Hello, I'm here with Savannah and Jack, parents of Christopher and Cassidy. So we're going to ask you guys a couple questions about how they are at home and how everything is with their friends and everything. So tell me a little bit about them.
Our children, Chris and Cassidy, they do everything together. They talk to each other nonstop. They love each other so much, and they're inseparable, to say the least.
That's good, okay.
They're right here.
Wow, very inseparable.
Mm-hmm.
Twins. Okay. Yeah, okay. So how do they interact with other children?
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty good. We take them to parks and they meet new friends and they meet friends together and they don't ditch each other, so they're
Well, that's
pretty
good.
together.
Yeah, okay. So just how twins should be. Okay, well, thank you guys for your time. Back to you guys in the studio. Thank you very much, Deborah. That was very informative. Now we will discuss the opposite of these two examples of children.
Yeah, so we'll start with the only child. As we saw from the reporter, Dominic and Jerry were not having the best relationship together. Jerry was not giving Dominic the environment and the situation and all the skills that he needed to become successful. He would not raise him how he should have been raised. So he wasn't given many opportunities to interact with these other kids, and when he did, Dominic didn't really know what to do.
You're right, Ron. When a child like Dominic isn't really raised with other interactions with children and is only raised with a father who doesn't really care about him, he's going to have not as many social skills as a normal child should. However, when a child like Dominic is raised by a loving and caring father, things would turn out completely different. His parents would talk to him and find out what the problem is. They wouldn't lock him in his room when he misbehaves. And since he has no other siblings, the parents would be interacting with him all the time and teaching him all the social skills that he needs to know.
Exactly. So then by the time he gets to preschool, he will want to be talking to other kids. He will want to be social and make friends and do all the things that most normal only children and twins do. Most of the time, only children can actually have some advantages over twins as well. Only children, if they're raised correctly, they're alone most of the time, but they can still have social skills. So, say for example, a only child can be super content on his own. He can still go out, make friends, be social with everyone, but he can be just as comfortable on his own, by himself, occupy himself, and do his own thing, and be totally fine, where twins can sometimes not be as good in that area, and they kind of will always need someone to be with them.
You're right. However, twins don't have it perfect either. If their parents treated them just like Dominic's parents treated them, they would turn out completely different as well. This would cause a big problem further down the road for them, because if they were treated exactly like Dominic was, they would solely rely on just each other, and they would have problems maybe in the future forming other relationships with people, maybe having like an actual relationship with a significant other. They would never separate. They would never go out and try to find other relationships as friends or anything, just because that's all they would have.
Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in and listening to us. We hope that you are a bit more informed about twins and only children and how they develop in their early years. And besides that,
I'm Veronica Ross,
and I'm Ronifer Phillips.
and have a good day.